Fire making is an essential skill for anyone who's out there exploring the outdoors, and today I'm going to explain how to be a better caveman. But always remember, when you are out there and you're trying to make a fire, dig a fire pit, make a rock circle, dig a Dakota fire hole, do something that makes sure it's safe. No matter what, fire safety is number one, and that's key. Stay tuned. The first part to being a better caveman is better tools than they had, and a better understanding. So I'm going to go through and explain how fire works and some of my best tips when it comes to building a fire when you're out here exploring the great outdoors. So, first off, with understanding, you need to understand it's three things: fuel, heat, and air. Fuel, heat, and then the air around it. Now, a lot of people wonder why blowing on it works. The air you breathe is 22% to 19% oxygen when you inhale it. When you exhale it, you only use about 4 to 5%. So it's still between 14 and 16% oxygen, and that is more than enough to sustain a flame. So most people's misconception is, why does blowing on it work if carbon dioxide puts out flame? It's because it's not all carbon dioxide. But, so we got our fuel, we have our air. Position is awkward. So what I have here is a bunch of this punky wood. What I did is I crushed it up, just like that, and I just made a little pile of it. I've already got smoke, but I'm going to hit it a couple more times with slowly scraping the ferro rod without making it spark as best I can. This one sparks pretty easily sometimes, except for when I want it to. But that'll drop some filings on here, so when the spark hits it, it'll kick up a larger spark. On your tinder start that you want to concentrate your spark on. Then I have some birch bark here. We all know how nicely that kicks up. Damn. So one of my biggest suggestions always is to try to process your stuff before you have to build up your fire, because you don't want to be at the point where I got the flame to spark up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I don't have any twigs I gotta break. And then you grab a branch and start breaking it up, and then your little bundle dies out before you have the chance. And this is an upside down fire. I'm starting it on top of the log so it'll burn down. Makes it last a little bit longer, and it's easier for me to get to a cooking fire faster. Whenever you're wanting to hone your skills when you're fire making, go out and practice a forced struggle. You guys know a few weeks ago I started a fire one-handed using the ferro rod, pinning it underneath my foot and pulling it through because I messed up my hand and I could only use one hand at the time, so it was a good point to teach that skill. Now, if I hadn't already had practiced that before, it would have been a lot harder. So I already knew ahead of time how to start a fire one-handed. But when it comes down to it, you don't want to wait until you're at the point of, well, shit, my hand don't work, how am I supposed to start a fire now? To decide to try to figure it out, because sometimes you're going to be out there in the midst of it all when you hurt yourself and you can't research it because, say, you don't have a signal. So now you're spending the night outside by yourself because you're meant to just do a hike, and now you have to survive the night with what you have on you, and you happen to have a ferro rod, but you need both hands to strike it because you didn't practice. Your night just got a lot harder and your chances of survival just went down. Another thing is redundancy. I carry a lighter, ferro rod, and a Bic lighter on me at all times. Because if one isn't going to work, you got the convenience of a lighter, but if you fell in the water or it rained torrential downpour on you and now everything is soaked, this will work when wet. So having the redundancy of having more than one type of fire starter. Also, in my hiking bag, I have storm matches, waterproof matches, and waterproof containers with other fire starter in it. So it's always redundancy about having extra things with you just in case something messes up. Your lighter explodes, it breaks, it gets wet, you run out of fuel and you didn't realize it was empty. I lost this at one point, and then I've got to try to figure out how to find something in my bag. And having those extra things to rely on makes it easier to start a fire. Besides practicing a force struggle, practice how to just make a fire in general. Learning how and when to add your fuel so you don't smother out your fire, or the different styles of fire for your different needs. If you've got a cooking fire, a signal fire, you need a smoky fire to be able to get rid of the bugs. There's a different style for each one. I've gone over a few in my channel, and I have the whole fire playlist for that. If you're interested in other fire making videos, check out that playlist. And then, challenge. My challenge for you guys is to go out and start a fire. Go out and make your fire today and practice a skill. Maybe one you haven't tried yet. Or use a different method of fire building. The type of fire. Something. Get out there and do something different than the way you normally would have to practice a different skill. And have confidence that you can start a fire, because now you know how to be a better caveman. Till next time, get out there, be a native, go beast.